A couple of things I saw this week talking about this decentralized revolution, talking about how centralization continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Rothbard framed it up in his book called The State. And in the book, The State, which, by the way, is a booklet, and you can read it in about an hour, and I think you can buy it on Amazon for like $5 or $6. You could probably download it for free on Mises.org, MISES.org, or you can buy it on Amazon for $5, $6. I would highly recommend you read it. It's $5 or $6. It's an hour's worth of your time. But he talks about the state. What is the state? And he says that the state, first of all, the state is nothing. We are individuals. Collectively, as individuals, we're the state. But the state is nothing on its own. It's just a collection of individuals. But he says that the state, once it starts to grow, the goal and the purpose of the state is to get bigger. The goal and the purpose of the state is to protect itself and defend itself. And again, always get bigger. What's the purpose of a business? To grow. What's the purpose of a state? To grow. And so as the state continues to grow, it continues to become more oppressive. You hire lawmakers. What do lawmakers do? Oh, that's right, they make laws. Well, if they're doing a good job, they have to be making laws, right? So we get more and more laws. The state has to get more oppressive until the point where they control every single aspect of your life. Arbitrary laws, stupid laws, laws that don't even make any sense, but they're lawmakers. So in order to do their job, they got to make laws. And so we saw this week some of the big news that were going around. Two big ones that were just insane is the Biden admin's war on gas stoves. Yeah, gas stoves. Are you kidding me? Like, they don't want us to have an open flame to cook on anymore. I believe the oldest way in the history of the world that we've ever cooked was on fire. And we still use fire today. I believe, I'm not a chef, but I believe that cooking on fire is still the best way to cook today. My grill uses fire and my stove uses fire. My wife hates the electric stove because it doesn't get hot enough, it doesn't heat up fast enough, and it's not efficient. We have natural gas. It's natural, it's abundant, and it's cheap. Gas seems to be the best way to cook on a flame. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the technical differences of electric versus heat flame. I don't really care about that. The point that I want to make here is if you have a government that wants to get so big, they want to tell you what type of heat you can cook your food over, that government has gotten too big. That's the point. Now, I don't care what their reasoning is, and I've seen a bunch of different reasonings. You got AOC saying it's because that the gas flame is bad for you. Okay. Well, heart disease is the number one killer in America. The number one killer in America, and that's mostly because of our food. We could talk about the glyphosate, we could talk about the GMOs, we could talk about the pesticides on our food that are killing people. Oh, no, let's not talk about that. Let's just talk about the gas being bad. They're talking about it's for the environment. Look, again, I'm not here to debate the intricacies of gas versus electric heat. I'm not here to talk about the intricacies of is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? Is it better or worse for your health than glyphosate sprayed on our foods? What I am saying is that if you have a government that wants to tell you what type of heat you're allowed to use for your food, that government is too big. And it's not just in the United States. I saw this week, we saw in Britain, the British food czar, they have a food czar. So just like in the United States, under Obama's first presidency, he appointed these czars, industry czars. These are non-elected individuals who basically are the administrative state that take over every single industry. So your vote, to vote in a representative to go vote on your behalf, means nothing because he appointed administrative state, these czars that have the power over each one of these. Well, Britain also has the same thing. So Britain has a food czar. And the Britain food czar says that they want to have a cake ban at the office. Yeah, a cake ban. Meaning it would be illegal for you in Britain to bring cake with you to the office. Now, I know a lot of times I don't eat a lot of sweets. So a lot of times, we'll get a gift basket, we'll get cookies, we'll get, we'll have a cake, whatever. Oh, take it to the office. Maybe people will eat it, right? They want to ban that. They say that it compares to the same as smoking in the office. So by bringing a cake to the office would be the same as smoking in the office. It says that Professor Susan Jebb, chairwoman of the Food Standards Agency, why we even have that, I don't know, FSA, said that she only eats cake during the day because colleagues give her the opportunity to do so. She then called on office workers to refrain from the practice to help the fight against obesity. So the professor, Susan Jebb, who's the chairwoman of FSA, Food Standard Agency, the person who's making decisions, is admitting, so she's responsible for policy over food, and she's admitting that she has no control over her own body. She has no personal agency. And she says, quote, only eats cake because colleagues give her the opportunity to do so. How dare those colleagues be willing to share stuff with her? How dare they offer her those things? And she has no agency on her own. And so because she has no agency, she needs to pass laws to protect you because you also have no agency. You see, that's how this works. All of these laws are really a projection. Because they're insecure, because they're dumb, lazy, stupid, or fat, or whatever, because they have no self-control, they need to pass laws they wish they had on themselves because they have no control, and they want to pass them on you. Have you seen what the health ministers look like? Have you seen what the health ministers of the US and other countries look like? Have you seen what the health ministers of the counties look like? It became pretty widely known throughout the COVID pandemic. They are all atrocious. I would not take health advice from any one of these people. Just like her. Who is she, the chairwoman of the Food Standard Agency, admitting here that she only eats cake because people bring it to her and they give her the opportunity to do so. And now she wants to make a law so people are not allowed to bring cake to the office anymore. Now look, this is one of those things where you have to think even further. So, you know what? I guess there's no reason people need to bring cake to the office, right? I mean, that's like dessert food. I mean, well, maybe on birthdays. Should we bring cake on birthdays? Okay, only on birthdays. But whose birthday? Only managers or employees? Okay, you know what? How about just no cake at all? Can we all go to a work party afterwards to celebrate a birthday? Could there be cake there? Well, and if it's not cake, then what other types of food? Well, what about food that has a lot of butter or salt? Should we ban stuff with butter? What about if it has high fat? Should we also ban that? Okay, how about we only allow cricket protein then? Like, where does this go? When they start telling you what type of food you can and can't bring to the office, I mean, again, back to the same as discussing the gas stove. I don't want to get into the fact of when you should have cake or shouldn't have cake or what type of heat you should be cooking your food on. The point is, when you have a government that wants to tell you what type of heat you should be cooking your food on or what type of food you can and cannot bring to your own office, you have a government that's gotten too big. It's easy to see that we are at peak centralization. World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, UN, IMF, BIS. The UK says you can't bring cake to the office, and Biden says you can't cook on gas anymore. We have a problem, and it's time to push back. And that's why the world is changing, and we're going back into a world of decentralization. It's happening. We can see the signs everywhere. The stricter they are grasping onto power, the more pushback we have. And as long as we keep pushing back on this decrepit and corrupt system, we're going to win. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Mark Moss Show. I've been talking about the decentralized revolution, running through the latest breaking news headlines of the week. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that gives you some clarity of where the world is going. And I appreciate you taking the time. If you've missed any of it, catch me on the podcast. Just search The Mark Moss Show or find me on YouTube at Market Disruptors. And that's what I got. Thanks for listening.